My name is Joseph Kerman. I've been a long-time member of the music department here at Cal, and Beethoven is one of the subjects that I've been working on for years. So I'm especially happy to introduce a quartet concert. While Beethoven didn't live all that long, his music changed a good deal more than that of most composers. There's a real distinction between the music of his first period, the music of his second so-called heroic period, and then the famous late works, which he wrote in his 50s. Beethoven died at the age of 57. A Beethoven quartet concert can get a good deal of variety by the very simple method of playing one early Beethoven quartet, one middle period quartet, and then you play one of the visionary works of the last period. And this program we're going to listen to is a very good example of this, because we have Beethoven's very first quartet. Now we leap forward just a few years to the Razumovsky quartets. The E minor, maybe, is the most determined to imitate the symphonic style. It has a sort of a two-part theme, and the first of them is very, very characteristic of Beethoven. That initial pair of notes is like a challenge, a sort of a question, which gets answered in different ways. And it's a very tense and long movement. The second movement is also very long and very serious. He writes on the top of it molto adagio, which means very slow. But after that he writes something unusual. Si tratta questo pezzo con molto di sentimento. This piece must be played with much sentiment. There's a legend that Beethoven wrote this piece, or at least got the concept for this piece, after examining the stars on a particularly clear night. And indeed, there's something about the kind of awe-inspired quality of this movement that really chimes in with that anecdote. It begins with one of Beethoven's hymn-like tunes. And it's a very, very simple one, which in its simplest form would go like this. Now, the third movement is in a way the most original. The piece is a scherzo, and there's a trio and a scherzo. Trio comes again, scherzo comes again. The trio makes a fugue on a Russian tune. We don't know whether Razumovsky commissioned quartets with Russian tunes in them, or whether Beethoven just put them in as a joke. The thing about Beethoven is that even when he's at his most earnest, he'll turn around and indulge in horseplay. People were shocked by disparities of solemnity and humor in Beethoven. So I just wanted to show you a few interesting things about this autograph. You know, Beethoven sketched, and most composers do sketches. When they come to write their final scores, they usually want to be neat so that there won't be mistakes in the printing. Not so with Beethoven. In fact, he alters his autographs. He starts writing thinking that he knows how the piece will go, or assuming that he'll fill it in all right. But it turns out that he fills it in wrong again and again and again. He writes a page that is so awful that he sticks it over with sealing wax. That's what that red is. One other thing, there is water staining in the front of this book, but not in the back of this book. It just happens we know about those water stains. We know that he got into a dispute with one of his patrons and left in a huff. This was in the country. Taking all his stuff in an open wagon, and it rained. There was a big storm, and this storm, we know, leaked into another famous autograph, a more famous autograph. That's one for the Appassionata Sonata. So it's pretty clear that this music, which was written at the same time, was in there. So that allows the musicologists to date things really quite exactly, which is what musicologists like doing best of all.